As we seek our center of calmness in all areas of our life, sometimes it's better to reach out for support from others, from those who have walked before us. And what if we were only one relationship away from finding just what we need to reach our own center of calmness? Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Center of Calmness, where we take everyone from stressed to more successful than ever before. And tonight we are blessed to have Alexei Musienko with us. Welcome, Alexei.
Thank you for that introduction. And it's a true pleasure and honor to be on this broadcast and to be able to serve the amazing people that you get to lead.
Thanks, and it's such an honor to have you with us as well, Alexei. A pleasure. If I could just ask to start out, how are things where you're at right now in California?
Things are beautiful. I'm looking at a beautiful sunset right now. I wish I could show you. I just don't want to mess up
All
this
right.
beautiful broadcast. But yeah, I know it's beautiful weather, beautiful sunset that I'm looking at right now, and life is amazing and calm.
I'm so glad to hear that. That's great. Perfect opportunity to talk about that at the Center of Calmness here. That's great. So I wonder, just to start out, as we've conversed in the past, I see that you have kind of an in-depth journey as far as how you reached this point in your business life. I wonder if you might just maybe take us through a brief introduction of what you've seen as you've traversed the business world and how you've arrived at one relationship away that you're currently working on at present.
I would love to. And the first thing I would definitely like to share with you and your audience is that everybody assumes that my success happened overnight, right? I always joke about that. My success has been overnight, but it's taken 20 years to get there. And that's the really one of the first points that I want to kind of share with you and your audience. Be kind to yourself, right? Know where you are in the journey and just choose to move forward, even if it's just one step at a time. When it comes to my story, I originally come from a very small town halfway across the world. Since I was born in a small town of Drushkovka in Ukraine, which is halfway across the world. Then I ended up, the journey of my life has taken me with my family to Moscow, where my family resides. And at the age of 12 and a half, I actually went to school halfway across the world from there, which was actually South Africa. Talk about some stressful times and amazing opportunities, because I went to school at a country I did not know with a language I didn't speak. So that was a lot of, calmness training there and being able to even just learn the language. But that gave me the opportunity to really learn how people communicate, even non-verbally, because I did not have that ability of question or, sorry, of language. And I was answering my own questions, why people do what they do, or what does what the person say actually means, and does it align with his language and his body language. So for me, yeah, that was probably the first step into my journey when it came to calmness.
That's really interesting. If I could interrupt for just a moment. So you when folks talk about the nonverbal versus verbal cues and interactions and how much of each represent the bandwidth of communication, you got to sample and experience that in a very personal way as you went from completely not knowing the language to learning and becoming fluent.
That is true, but I want to actually take it a step further and really invite you and your audience to think about what is, your moment of South Africa and my education, right? It might not have to be you going halfway across the world. To me, it was a challenge, right? So what kind of challenges are you having in your life? And are you realizing those challenges might be just there to create a setup for your success, not a setback? I think that's a very important point to bring forward that can bring somebody calmness, right? If they see a problem or a situation that they're going through, and instead of having a mindset, oh my God, this is going to set me back versus set me up for success, being able to take that moment and really think how better their life will be once they're able to learn that lesson, once they're able to, you know, get rid of that, or actually take the opportunity of learning and step forward. I think that can really help somebody to release some of the nervous energy and be more calm.
Completely. And I've personally experienced several of those apparent setbacks through my own business career. And the ones that hit you the hardest are the ones that you think you had nothing to do with. They seem to happen to you out of seemingly out of nowhere, undeservedly. But you're right. It's all in it's all in what you do with that material, that raw material. Once you're in the middle of it, right?
See, for me, I have chosen to start living my life consciously and with a mindset that life is happening for me, not to me. And I do the same with my clients. And I think the huge difference that it makes, just the intention of what are you looking to create in the world, or how would you like to experience the world, makes a world of difference when it comes to being able to stay calm.
Absolutely, yeah. Because then, if the life experience that you're receiving is for you and happening as a result of your intentional actions, or just the fact that you're present in a given moment at a given time, that's a complete mindset shift, right? Where you're no longer the victim, but really you're just creating more victories as you go on your way. So, how did you use that? What would you say is the first time where you really began to use that principle in a huge way in your own journey, where life is happening for you?
You know, it's taken me years to really get to the point of realizing that the life was happening for me because, you know, just like anyone, maybe on this broadcast, you know, it doesn't happen overnight. And that's what I was talking about earlier, is that, you know, it's a journey, it's a process, and it's a mastery of that skill. Being able to take any moment and see the positive versus the negative, right? I believe moments that happen into our life, they're just moments, they're facts. But it's the meaning that we give to them create a lot of different associations and sometimes even problems in our life if we just, without realizing, paint something as negative. One of the biggest things actually on the journey that I was able to do, and I, you know, chose to make a commitment around this originally because it wasn't easy. It didn't happen overnight, as I said, is I removed the word failure out of my vocabulary and I replaced it with the word feedback, right?
Right.
Feedback can show you what is working and what is not, or how to do something, or how to do it in a different way that will serve you better. So to me, now that I've replaced that word of failure to feedback, all I do is gather the feedback faster, right? And
Absolutely.
that allows me to move forward in my life easier and creates a lot more calm.
Completely, right? Otherwise, if you don't do that, then failure is like a millstone, right? You're carrying that around and having to deal with it, and even if you're able to drop it, you're still taking the energy out of your life and you're out of your process to drop it out. But if you treat it only as feedback, then it's almost like perhaps a helium balloon or something, right? That's actually helping carry you forward and providing you with the energy you need to keep moving.
No, and I completely agree. And I do want to take a moment to be completely transparent with the audience, because I believe in being fully honest and showing the full picture. The truth is, you know, as I said, the journey was long and I wasn't always as calm as I am in the situations, and how you've probably experienced me now over the years of practice and mastery. To me, even though I've done some amazing things in my life, I do want to share with your audience that I was in a place where I was clinically depressed and almost suicidal. It was being not able to focus on my successes, but focusing on my failures basically brought me to that state, right? Where there were moments in my life where I literally felt worthless, or at least that's how I considered myself. And the fact is, it was a perceived reality versus the actual reality, right? And I want to invite your audience to do the same. If they are going through a challenge, ask yourself, is it reality or perceived reality, right? Is there an actual lion that's about to eat you, which is reality that you're about to die? Or is it something that you've taken on? And yes, you may be getting feedback that it might not work that way, but at the end of the day, the truth of it, you're not going to die. And tomorrow is going to come and you're going to take that step forward if you choose to and make it better. And then another day and make it better and make it better. See, the biggest key I believe that a lot of people miss is the power of momentum in their life. Too many people think that they can do something in a year, and a lot of people underestimate what they actually can do in a decade. So if you were just to slow down, create that momentum, take those necessary steps, number one, you will eliminate a lot of stress out of your life. But if you're doing things consistently and strategically, you won't recognize your life in a very short time. And that's what I truly believe.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just to go back and revisit, you mentioned that you did go through a serious low point, and I know especially in this current environment, there's a lot of folks out there that are finding those low points faster than ever before. What shifted you out of seeing those failures as failures and going through the depression and the suicidal thoughts and et cetera? What shifted you out of that and allowed you to either rescue yourself or reach out to others to help put you on a path that is more like what you're at today, where the failures become feedback and you're able to move forward and maintain a momentum?
See, and I think that was actually first instance of where one relationship away was really born. To be fair, that wasn't the actual name of it at that moment, but I knew that something had to change. And in order for me to get a different result, I had to do something different. And that one biggest thing that I did was I ended up changing my environment. And it actually is simpler than it sounds. What I did, I started listening to a recording of a program from a person. Well, she actually ended up becoming a mentor of mine afterwards. But to me, I really connected with her story of sharing that her mindset was so negative at certain points in her life that she was also in depression and suicidal thoughts. She actually was the person, and I can't even imagine that level of pain in her life. She considered suicide at 7 years old.
Wow.
That scared me. That was amazing. So I was willing to listen. What was it that she was doing? And one of the things that she recommended, what she did when she was in those states, she would put, tapes, good positive information into her ears. She would actually recommend, or she didn't recommend, but she basically said what she used to do for herself when she was in those negative moments. She would actually sleep with the audio, because if she woke up, she didn't want the chance for those negative thoughts to come back in, which was to me an aha moment, and I did the same. And to me, number one, it started changing my mindset. As a result of my mindset, it really started changing my environment. And one of the biggest things that I talk to my clients about all the time now, and I don't know if this is a quote or I heard it somewhere, is that people don't decide their futures. They decide their environment, and their environment will decide their future, right? And will decide their habits as well. Depending who you choose to hang out with, you will become, right? Our brain is our greatest asset or greatest liability, because one of our biggest assets when it comes to our brain is the function of normalization. See, but the cool thing is it can play for us or it can play against us. if we are in a negative environment, if we are surrounded by negative people, our brain will adapt to that. So we will become one of those people. And if we choose to surround ourselves with leaders and mentors and high level thoughts and education, our brain will start to normalize that. And before you know it, you will start becoming a leader yourself, someone who can make a difference in another person's life. And by serving others, I truly believe that you will receive everything that you hope for.
Absolutely. It's definitely a flow, right? It's not what you receive yourself, but it's what you do with those gifts and how you are able to deliver value, ideally even amplified value to those who you have opportunity to serve. Absolutely. That's huge. And I really appreciate your point on the mind and the ability for the mind to create a powerful set point that can drift, right? It can drift negative, or it can also drift, thankfully, it can also drift positive if when you surround yourself with the right folks that have been there before and able to cheer us on to the next height. So, Alexia, I did want to ask, specific to one relationship away, what is that concept exactly, and how are you implementing that at this time?
So one relationship away really developed from just an idea to a way to serve, and then now into a company. And really, one relationship way, it focuses on three main things. It focuses on high level business education. It also focuses on mentorship, and then third, partnership. And how did I actually come up with it? Well, I took a time, of my life to really think what was important to me, right? Part of the reason why I ended up being in the depression and suicidal thoughts is that I was making a lot of money. I didn't need to get out of bed. And that was part of my problem. I stayed in bed. And I know some of your, listeners might say, boo-hoo, great for Alexi. That's one hell of a problem, to have. I would not really wish that problem on anybody, because when you lose your sense of direction in life, things can get very dark very quickly. And so for me, one of the other shifts, because I started listening to these audios, I ended up basically diving in head deep into personal development. And to some extent, I would even say it saved my ideal life, how I wanted to live, and maybe even from suicide. So to me, when I got such an amazing experience and such an amazing reward, I wanted to see how I can pay it forward, how I can give back. And one of the biggest things that I was seeing that was a problem in that industry was that everybody was expected, or the gurus were expected, to get paid up front. And I said, well, what if I can do the same, just like with my original company that connected pharmaceutical companies and pharmacies, but we changed the model. What if I'm able to do the same with one relationship away? What if I provided high-level business education at a very low cost so I can start educating people, right? And they don't have to work with me. And if I'm able to show them real life results, they can choose to take the invitation to take a step forward and become part of my mentorship group, right? Group mentoring, sure. Which I still do my best to keep affordable, because to me, I want to see if somebody is teachable. And when I get the payoff from that, flipped system, is the third step of partnership, right? When I see someone who is teachable, they're willing to invest into themselves. Now I'm looking to invest into them, to partner with them and their companies. And for me, one of the things that I have in my background, I spent over 12 years in business development. And so these are the skills that I'm bringing to individuals now, to professionals, to help them scale their income and their impact. So to me, that's what my life is all about. So being able to, offer those three things and help people move forward, that's how I create significance and contribute to the calmness of the world.
Absolutely, right? Because, honestly speaking, if folks are successful and meeting their passion and their purpose, well, that tends to generate calm. And the absence of purpose is a lot of what creates the discord that we're seeing everywhere these days. So what a noble pursuit. scaling income and scaling life. Is there any limitation to any verticals or types of businesses or individuals that you work with, or do you work anywhere and everywhere?
For me, I mainly found that I usually like to work with professionals that are doing at least six figures, because then, my fees make sense. But even if you're not, I invite you to consider to just join our community, right? Because to me, as I said, it's all about paying it forward. To me, it's not about the money. I put the investment there just to make sure that people pay attention, because it was the most amazing things. I did a test where I was releasing a new program. Couple of people, they invested over $25,000 to be part of it, and then a couple of people I gifted the program to because I wanted to make a difference in their life. The most amazing thing is that the program was the same. The actions and the teaching was the same. I didn't change a thing. They were going through the same program. And it was amazing to see that people that actually paid or invested $25,000, they were getting aha over aha over aha. They were taking action and they were getting results. And people that did not actually didn't, which blew my mind. But to me, it really showed me that if I want to serve people, I do have to have an investment. But just because you might not be ready to do an investment, my goal is to make a difference in your life, right? That's why I'm choosing to give my time, even, for this broadcast, because time is one thing that I track very diligently, because time is one resource. Once I invest it or spend it, I can never get it back. And to me, it's all about helping people do the same, right? Our greatest assets are time and knowledge, right? If we're able to learn how to leverage those, it makes all the difference in life, right? Now it's almost like take that game of Monopoly and you make it real in the real world, where you are able to not only scale your income, create time freedom, but also create an impact. And to me, I believe that when it comes to people, there's only two types of people out there always, right? There's people with a poor mindset, and it doesn't matter. I've actually met millionaires with a poor mindset, right?
Interesting.
Poor mindset deals with money. Rich mindset, what I have found, being able to be blessed to work with multimillionaires and a few billionaires, is they deal in impact. So are you talking about money or are you talking about impact? Even just that shift can create a huge difference in your life. But to talk about, the community, anybody can join the community, right? That they can change their environment. And once they're ready, maybe the investment is the right thing for them to do. Maybe it's not. But to me, to go back to your question and to kind of round it out, usually an investment makes sense for somebody that's doing at least, $60,000 to $80,000. They have been able to learn, and actually maybe that's a bonus that I can give to your audience. One of the things that I talk about in my Double Your Income, Free Your Life, Double Your Income, Free Your Time book is the 3 master skills of wealth. And the first master skill of wealth is self-management. Can you manage your time, energy, and money? And also, can you monetize on what you know, which is your intellectual property, right? So that's really level number 1 or step number 1 for anybody, right? Until somebody learns that lesson, I can't teach you much more, right? Once you have learned that lesson, and this is where we really started working with you on, and we connected over the idea of, the next master skill is people management, right? How do you monetize your IP or what you know, and then share it with people and manage people so that you can not only increase your income, but you can increase your impact, and therefore, which will lead you to the third. And I would even say it's a master skill a billionaire's mind, it is the skill of opportunity management, where you take a look at opportunities and you see, okay, I have 1 hour of investment on my time, and I have opportunity A to opportunity B. When I invest my time, which one will create a greater return for myself?
Huge. So many lessons in this very short time period that you've spent with us. Really appreciate it, Alexi. And I did want to, as we close, offer your contact information for anyone who might wish to reach out, perhaps if they're interested in your book or joining your Community One relationship away. You made it real simple, right? It's just Alexi, ALEXEI.life, because it's about your life, right?
No, that's completely it, right? To me, this truly is not a business. This is my life. I've been very blessed to do very well, and God has blessed me with amazing, not only companies that I get to run, but also a great, income where I am financially free. So to me, the next question I wanted to ask myself, well, if I'm financially free, what do I want to invest my time? And I choose to invest my time with amazing individuals just like yourself and your audience to help you leverage your time so you can create a bigger impact. Because it's not about me, it's about who needs to hear your story. Who can you help? In whose life can you make a difference? Because if you do, my time was invested wisely, and that's what gives me the satisfaction of making a difference in the world.
That is huge and a perfect point to end our broadcast this evening. Alexi, you've shared so much with us. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to working with you additionally, as well as seeing more of the impact that you're generating through perhaps even folks in this audience here watching us today.
It would be my pleasure.
Such a pleasure. Thanks again for joining us. And for those interested in continuing the conversation at Center of Calmness, we are actually starting a private Facebook group with a little bit of deeper information and more value to share with those of you who are interested in taking your calmness a little bit farther. And for the Center of Calmness, I'm DK Warner.